Great. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. It's a pleasure being with you, and good evening. Welcome to our 13th annual reception of the Valley Community Foundation. Those of you who have perhaps been with us over these years recognize that we started out very modestly. That is, when we started out, we had 100% ambition and zero money. That's changed somewhat, in which we have a couple of dollars, and we hope we still have the ambition that we started with. I hope you've had some time this evening, and I know you're in line, and take your time. Again, the program is the program. We'll get through it, but we want you to be well fed and talk a lot with all of your fellow customers up at the food bar. Lots of familiar faces here. I do hope you've had the time to meet and greet. And at the end of the program, if you'd like to stick around, we'll still have some social activities even at the end. So we'll try to get through this as best we can. I'd like to note that from our official list, we have Ben Florsheim from the office of Senator Chris Murphy. Ben, where are you? And we have James Tickey, and he's from the office of Congresswoman Rosa DeLauro. We also have regards from Senator Richard Blumenthal, and unfortunately all our state reps are up in Hartford and they're working very hard. So we appreciate their hard work. One of the jobs we do when we get involved with community organizations, as most of you I've seen this evening have been for a good part of your lives, and certainly that's something we feel is a treasure to meet and greet people we've never known, get involved in things we've never done, and try to do it for our community. One of the things that we do in our board is we have to replace. We don't really replace, we just say thank you to those who've done a great job. And so what I'd like to do is recognize two former board members who ended their term at the end of 2016. One is the indefatigable Sue Coyle. Sue, where are you? And those of you who know Sue know how hard a worker she is. She's basically was our Development Committee Chair, but when you look at her list of accomplishments, she's not just been a person who joins organizations, but she truly volunteers, and she's recognized generously for that. And among the things that she's had outside of our presence, she was basically the Woman Realtor of the Year, the American Cancer Society Volunteer of the Year. She's in the Junior Achievement Hall of Fame. She's received awards from the Valley Chamber of Commerce, including the Gold Seal Award in 2014. So Sue, if you can come up here for a moment, we'd like to go and acknowledge your who's who of volunteering.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Sue. That's all? Okay. And people probably all know John Zaprzelka, here with his wife Laura, and thank you, John. So he's our S&S guy. He's born in Shelton, living in Seymour, still involved with Shelton, gracing those fairways of Highland. And you know, of course, we're here at a golf resort, and some of you may recognize that the Gates brothers, one of them was a former member of Highland who was in charge of Highland, and they certainly left the seed money for our organization to get started 12 years ago. John's been a member of our board for most of those years, and I would consider him to be the quintessential quiet yet effective leader. He has no braggadocio to him, but he leads organizations in the community to great heights. Among them Griffin Hospital, where he has helped them achieve national recognition, remains an active part of the Griffin Board of Trustees. He certainly led our foundation to firm financial footing, and that's his background as a CPA, so we'd expected that. Thank you, John. But he's also instituted a thorough strategic planning process. And if you read through our brochure that we're handing out this evening, our annual report, you'll see his family philanthropy. So he and his family have established multiple funds, most recently in the names of his grandparents. And if you need John, I always like his promo. It's john@ctcpa.com. So we appreciate the enormous time, John, that you devoted to VCF. You've made us a quality organization. And between you and Sue, it's been a pleasure to be with both of you for your years of service. So come on up and accept this award from us.
Thanks, Al.
Thank you, sir.
Very nice.
Grandpa.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks. We still have the lines out there. I'm not sure I'm happy with that, but we're almost there. This was a very exciting year for the Valley Community Foundation. Some of you may know we've partnered with more than 30 organizations to release what we call the 2016 Valley Community Index. That's an executive summary that we have that spotlights changing data in the Valley. The full report you can get online, and if you want copies of the summary, we have it here for you tonight. Where is that?
On the way out.
It's on its way up.
No,
It's,
you'll get it on the way out.
you'll get it on the way out. They said hold up a copy of the Community Index, but where is it?
It's behind him.
It's behind me?
On the podium. On the podium.
On the podium? Where's that?
There you go.
Uh-huh. Here it is. Okay, now I understand. It says understanding the Valley region. If I understood where it was, I would have been a little better at this. So this is our headline from Understanding the Valley region. We know the Valley's changing. The community's needs and opportunities are changing also. What the Valley looked like 10, 15, 25 years ago, it's very different from what we have found from the Valley of today. So what I'm going to urge you to do are two simple things: get informed and get involved. This year, we had the pleasure of welcoming 14 new funds to the VCF family. And based upon the generosity of the donors and our old exemplars through the gates, we were able to award to the community approximately $1.6 million in grants. And that generosity resulted in over $3 million in contributions from our community. Thank you very much for that. Now, this year, we received the largest bequest in our history. Sharon will talk about this a little later as we're doing our fund introductions. But all told, I'd like you to recognize the fact that VCF has now exceeded the $20 million threshold on its way to $21 million. Thank you to all who contributed. So as you look at our annual report, you'll note many changes in our population, our job growth, and our socioeconomic opportunities. A major takeaway from the index, I thought, was about our seniors. So some of them are the blossoming bloomers, but there are others. But they're projected to become the fastest growing age group in our community. And for many, what we found is their most welcome wish is to age in place. They're not looking to leave their homes unless they're being forced to do that. And some of them are not able to care for themselves and so have no other options. but so many of them do. And the state has recognized that, and they've provided opportunities for people to stay in place at home. I had hoped to have my 92-year-old mom here, except that she came down with a little intestinal discomfort, as she told me. But I do have here from the family my wife, Mary Ann, and my son, Brendan, who's a veteran of the Army. So they're seated right over there, Mary Ann and Brendan. And the reason I bring up my mother is she's 92 years young, and she's a 65-year counting and continuing resident of Derby. And she's still in her East Side home with assistance. So Mom, even though you're not here, we're going to give you a little bit of applause. And on a personal note, I really want to thank my family, not all who's here, but we've got 5 grandchildren these days. My son has 2 and my daughter has 3. And if you look at your cover on the handout today, you can see that there's a young lady over here. That would be my oldest granddaughter, Isabella, who decided to, shall we say, participate after some heated requests from me. But we recognize the young people, and we recognize the old people, and all in between. And what's most important to us is to try to find opportunities that we can continue to address to make the community better. And so that involves all of you. And one of our initiatives, and we always talk about trying to do things positively, people use the word proactive. Well, one of the items is to look at how you can plan for the future. One of the best ways you can do that is through planned giving. And so just as we've gotten our single largest fund in place, that's going to soon become a major focus in the Valley. And if you look at the first couple of pages of our recipe for a great community, you'll see we talk about planned giving and how we hope to endeavor to assist all the nonprofits with our mission statement being making our community through private philanthropy a better place to live, work, and to grow. So one of the things is we don't do it alone, and with all the good work we do, we need partners. And our actual direct partner in philanthropy is seated over there right by the wonderful fireplace. And that's the Community Foundation for Greater New Haven, otherwise known as TCF. When the Gates set up their trusts in the 50s, it was to be used for the benefit of Derby and vicinity. We're in the vicinity of Derby even as we're here. And we, through the creation of the Valley Community Foundation in '04, partnered with TCF, and we continue to partner. Matter of fact, we're going through a redo of our affiliation agreement, which will continue this wonderful partnership. And so the single largest fund at the Community Foundation is a fund for the benefit of our area. And we really appreciate all the hard work, the time, the effort, the back office support of all of the people from the Community Foundation. I'd like you all to rise, please, and be acknowledged. Among the people standing just to my right is the head of that organization, the chief executive officer since the early 2000s, and continuing, I think, under another new contract. I think when I was there, we drafted something for Will. But Will Ginsberg would certainly like to be up at this podium, share some thoughts with you about how our partnership is going and what he sees going down the road. So thank you very much for your attention. Enjoy the rest of your evening.